Everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another video this morning, or hopefully the only one this morning. So I've not been up for very long, as you can probably tell. Probably been up for about an hour. Woke up, caught back on Bethesda's E3 press conference. I guess the majority of this will be talking about the information we've learned regarding Fallout 76. But just a couple of quick other mentions as well. Rage 2 looks really quite good, actually, to be fair. You can tell there's a lot of Doom elements in there. They've also obviously taken inspiration from the first Rage game as well, and I feel like there's a bit of Bulletstorm and Blink in there as well. So Blink, what's it called? One of the whatever the game's called. I never actually got to play it other than the demo, so I do know a little bit about it, not a huge amount. Yeah, so that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's not coming out till next year, unfortunately, spring 2019, but, well, at the earliest. So, yeah, but, you know, it is what it is. It will come out when it comes out. I was hoping, because obviously they released it a bit earlier, that we might see it this year, but as things stand, it looks like we're going to be in it next year, so that's cool as well. Long term into the future, the other game that obviously I'm quite excited about is the confirmation of the Elder Scrolls 6. I couldn't really tell from landscape where they're setting it. Doesn't look like it's going to be Valenwood like a lot of people have already speculated on. It still could be, but it doesn't look like it. And what else was I going to say? They also mentioned Starfield as well, but we know painfully little on that for me to be able to make a judgment. And the other stuff was, you know, a few mobile games, Elder Scrolls Blades, which looks a bit more in-depth than, you know, for example, something like Fallout Shelter. But, yeah, I'm not really massively keen on that, but it's okay. And also apparently Skyrim's coming to Alexa. By the way, if you haven't seen that is a really good video to go and watch, because it is quite funny. You know, you definitely can tell that, you know, Bethesda is aware of the stuff that's said about them. You know, they made many references to that sort of stuff, like we're here to tell you where, you know, like what Skyrim will be coming out on next. And then what else did they mention? Oh yeah, about the beta for Fallout 76, the break it early test. I can't remember what they called it now, but yeah, saying about how their games are not always perfectly smooth and often have issues. Well, yeah, of course, it's a Bethesda game, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so they revealed a fair amount of information about Fallout 76. It is going to be an always online game, even if you choose to play single player. That's the impression that we got. The first thing that Todd said when he got on stage was, you know, it's a completely online game. That's it. First thing. So expectations were set, and I was a bit disheartened. After watching some of the gameplay and seeing some of the interaction and stuff, it looks alright. You know, I'm not going to bash it too much on that. It sounds like the idea is for you to obviously play it online. I think you're going to be pushed very heavily to do so, and I feel as though you're probably going to struggle if you're playing it by yourself. He's not said that as such, but from, you know, enemy leveling and that sort of stuff, you might very well find yourself up against a wall where you're not strong enough to take out enemies by yourself, potentially. So, you know, no doubt there is going to be some trade-offs for long-time Fallout fans like myself, which, you know, I do understand. I'm very sort of mixed about it at the minute. The map looks nice. You know, a few of the key features that they've talked about look good. So some of the stuff that is confirmed in regards to, you know, the rumours that was going out before is that it is going to be a fair amount of it will be your base building, and your base build with other people. And then there's this, I can't remember what the kit's called, but effectively you can take it wherever you want. So it's like a portable base, I think. And obviously you'll get attacks, random encounters, that sort of stuff. and there will be an element of PvP in there. So whether it turns into one of these, other survival games like DayZ or WarZ or H1Z1, where people can be friendly or can be hostile. Is this one of those games where it's going to be people? I suppose you have to have enough reason for people not to be hostile, rather than the other way around. Because I think inherently people in online games are hostile. Off the bat. As a general rule, obviously, you're probably sitting there thinking, no, I always give people a chance or whatever. But yeah, as a general rule, I feel like people are hostile off the bat, unnervy of other people. So if you make the rewards for killing them not as great, then there's less point in doing so. Or you make the threat of, enemies in the game high enough where it's, it's more... it's more important to form a team as opposed to, being a renegade and going off by yourself. I don't know. So we'll see how that all plays out. Obviously, Bethesda are basically from what they basically said is, we've made this world, you go out and dictate how it works type of thing, which, I don't know, is okay. One of the other things that they specified as well was the idea of nuclear launch bases, which, oh my goodness, sounds like an absolute... well, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a really interesting concept. So, effectively, you acquire the code, the access code from NPCs, enemies, as you go along. And the idea is that they're probably going to be really scarce and hard to find pieces of this access code. But if, you get 4 pieces of the code or 5 pieces of the code or whatever it is, between you and other people, then you can go to one of these nuclear launch bases and you can launch a nuke anywhere on the map and effectively wipe it out. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure how I feel in terms of it keeping in with, I suppose the lore side of things, and also the aesthetic side of things as well, in terms of the Fallout universe. But anyway, all that remains to be seen. There's a lot more discussion points to be made on that, I'm sure. A few of my concerns straight off the bat is how much, of RPG... How much of the RPG elements have been sacrificed for this online mode. That is point number one. I'm guessing quite a few. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is inevitably going to be sacrificed. We've then also got, obviously, the lack of VATS. No mention of VATS has been made whatsoever. It's obviously not feasible to have VATS in the traditional sense. Since Fallout 3 of it pausing the game and you've been able to aim and pick a target and fire. Whether they introduce that in a separate way with maybe a buff or a speed boost, or I don't know. I don't know how you would go about doing it. Obviously, it's not feasible to pause every single person's game on the server at the same time because you want to enter VATS, because that would be considerably annoying for... Yeah, it just wouldn't work, obviously. So how they play that in, how quests work, I worry it's going to be too much Elder Scrolls Online and not enough... I worry it's going to be too much like Fallout Online and not as close to a traditional Fallout. So in those regards anyway, especially with things like XP, loot, that sort of stuff. But if they are making it like a persistent world and all how the game looks and how the game feels as though it looks, if that makes sense, is promising so far. So I often feel like MMOs, especially the Elder Scrolls Online, feel a bit light, feel a bit feathery. Nothing feels as though it's really there, because of the nature of MMOs. Whereas this one, I suppose, because they're limiting the scope, there's going to be a few dozen players, so it might be a 24 server, 36-man server. Things do feel as though things feel weighty. Not as weighty as a traditional game, but in terms of how online-only games look, it looks like it's in the middle. As I always say, with things like rumours, speculation, the truth is often somewhere bang in the middle with a lot of stuff. And obviously we've heard, things saying it's a or my speculation, I suppose, it could be a battle royale game, to, you know, it's an MMO, to it's a PvP survival game, to it's actually a single player game and people can join your game, you know, and you can join their game. And I feel like it has definitely hit us somewhere in the middle on that one. So looking forward to seeing more information as and when it comes out. But the release date is for November. I thought that they would release it on, I think it's the 21st of October, which is the in-game reclamation day. Because they did, you know, spin back the calendar and go about that way, but it looks like maybe that was their initial plan, was to release in October, but the release date is now in November, so a bit longer. And we do have the Power Armor edition, which grants you wearable Power Armor helmet. Not so sure how I feel about that. I remember when Fallout 4 came out and they released the Pip-Boy edition. I was very, very keen on that. I think that's incredible. It was incredibly cool. I've got it up there on display. And whether I would go for something like the Power Armor edition, I can imagine it being a lot more. You know, maybe £120, £150. I haven't yet seen. So if it, you know, it could eclipse that, it might be 200. But you also get access to the beta as well if you pre-ordered the Power Armor edition, which, you know, I don't know how I feel about it. I suppose they have to work out the beta some way, and obviously that will be a big draw for people, for them to get pre-orders for it. So anyway, at any rate, I have rambled on for far too long. I'm not sure how long the video's been going on for. 11 minutes, nearly 12 minutes. Right. Anyway, I'll see you all very soon. Hope you're looking forward to Bethesda stuff as much as I am. A very good press conference overall. And yeah, I'll see you all very soon, guys. Thanks for watching.